It's the main event. I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum, and of course, you know him is not here again today. 17-year NFL veteran Dale Hellestrae. Well, he's used to his summers off this time of year being in the NFL. They get their breaks before training camp. He takes advantage of that here as well. So it's supposed to be back tomorrow. We'll see if he makes it back in, traveling back from the Bay Area today as well. So we'll see if he makes it in. But I got you throughout today as well. Appreciate everybody tuning in yesterday to the Bruce Cooper joining us. He does on Tuesdays. Every Tuesday that, now even this is time of year for him to start taking some breaks and stuff to that effect as summer is officially here, just like we're taking Fridays off here. This Friday we'll be off, and then next week we'll have our holiday schedule next week. We will be here Monday and Tuesday next week. Guarantee that. Wednesday right now is a toss-up. It's because of some personal things got to get taken care of out there. And then, of course, Thursday, Friday next week, I can guarantee you we're off with the holiday, the July 4th holiday coming up as well. Everybody just recharge our batteries, get ready as the Cardinals report to training camp July 22nd. This year, a little bit earlier than normal, just because of the Hall of Fame game. They get that coming up first as well. So, how was your evening last night? We always tell stories. Yesterday, I did not go out into the wild. We got done here, went home, and I was exhausted. Took a little bit of a nap yesterday after my explosive Tuesday being out there. Just this heat, man. 112 today coming in. So I got home yesterday, took a nap for a few hours, got up, got some things done around the house. Quick, easy day yesterday, of course, going into today as well. It should be easy day today as well. Pit stop will be up later on today. Be up around, we get it up before 2 o'clock. Don't commit on the time because upload times, things to that effect, and everything. So we shoot for it. We tell you no later than 2 o'clock, of course, live, or excuse me, on demand there on YouTube. And over on Rumble as well, rumble.com/user/TME media, where you can find all of our programming on Rumble, including The Real Matrix, new episode coming this Friday. Just make a note if you're a Real Matrix fan, this is the last in the Charlie Kirk saga for now. But next week, next Friday, off next Friday as well for that. No show will be posted next week. Get back underway the week after. With the holiday next week, give everybody a break going into the holiday, July 4th holiday, and then, of course, back every Friday at noon as well. They're on Rumble and on your free podcasting system as well and everything. So we got lots of sports to talk about today. Wish I had some more stories to tell you, to be honest with you. By the way, Uncle Lou coming in tomorrow as well. Do not forget about that. Join us live, TME Media AZ, to 8 to 10 a.m. is where you can find us. Business shows on at 7 a.m. And join the chat on YouTube as well. Join the chat, 623-252-6670 is our text line. Hit us up, of course, on X as well, TME Sports Show. We love your comments. We love your interactions with the show. We read them all. We interact with them as well. So get on there and do that as well and join us. Like and subscribe to our pages and our podcast systems. We greatly appreciate that as well. Look, Diamondbacks got the win yesterday. Positive. World Cup soccer, England dud again. England just always disappoints, don't they? Portugal, we told you that yesterday during the show. Portugal up was 2-0, less than 20 minutes into that game. Ended up winning 5-0. Ronaldo, 2 goals in that game. First player to ever score in 6 consecutive World Cups. Folks, he's got 20, and he's old. He's older. He's got 24 years ago he played in his first World Cup. Isn't that an amazing stat? Yeah. There's don't make that too often in the World Cup. We'll give you yesterday's updates. We'll talk about today. 6 games on tap. It's been 4 on tap every day since the start of the tournament, or second day of the tournament. Well, 6 today, 6 tomorrow, including your U.S. squad against Turkey in a game that means nothing. They've already wrapped up Group D. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. But today we'll get you updated on what's coming on board today. Some good games as well. This Brazil game's wrapping up. Brazil-Scotland. Scotland needs a win. Brazil. I'm moving for the Scots. I really am. But we'll talk about that coming up for that. Of course, NBA draft last night. Bruce Cooper was right. Suns moved back into the first round. We went long yesterday, about 30 minutes longer in the show yesterday, talking that NBA draft with Bruce. Bruce Cooper, local legend, sports guy as well. We got him. Yeah, they went and got him. They went and got Koa Pete. Physicality needs an outside shot, right? Bruce talks a lot about Oso needing to develop that outside shot, Dunn needing to help develop that outside shot. Now you got Koa Pete, who needs to develop that outside shot. But the physicality, the defense, I think he's going to fit in with this team pretty well. We'll talk about what they gave up to move up to that 25th spot and go get Koa Pete as well. Obviously, local kid as well, Perry High School. Now coming to the NBA here with your Phoenix Suns. Second round of the NBA draft today. Suns, no picks. So they moved up to get that one. So we'll see. Do they move back into the second? I don't think they're going to. Why would you? But hey, you never know these days on what's coming down the pipeline. They can make a trade, right? You still got Royce O'Neal. You got Grayson Allen. You can still unload and get a draft pick and stuff to that effect. So we'll have to wait and see what comes up from that. We'll talk more NBA draft coming up. Diamondbacks yesterday got the win. Erod continues to be stellar on this team. I favor Erod, right? It's Sirocco and Erod, your best two pitchers this year, which nobody had going into the season. Beginning of the season, people thought, who would you, when Merrill Carroll got hurt, who are you going to unload out of this lineup, out of this starting five? Everybody's like, Sirocco. It's got to be Sirocco. Ended up bringing Brandon Pfaadt. And a new starter again today. Today is Sirocco's day to go, obviously on the IL. Did they bring up Brandon Pfaadt? No, still not ready. Because they put him in the bullpen. He's not stretched out. So we get another young kid starting it today, which I'm not opposed to. To me, it just shows you the Brandon Pfaadt situation just continues to show the mismanagement sometimes that this team does. Because you have a major league starting pitcher in your minor leagues right now, and the only reason he's not up here is he's not stretched out because you put him in the bullpen instead of sending him down to stay stretched out. It's, in my eyes, it's beyond frustrating. We talked about that a lot yesterday as well, and it's going to rear its ugly heads today as well. So hopefully you guys had a good day yesterday. 112 today here in the Phoenix area. For those of you watching us in Illinois, I know my buddy yesterday texted me from Illinois complaining about how hot it was. Another buddy of mine texted me from, or at least DM'd me from Utah, said how hot it was up there. Shut it. We don't want to hear it. I'll say it right here, right now. I'll challenge you to a fight. We don't want to hear it. It's hot here. However hot you are, it's hotter here. 112 on the slate today coming up. So stay cool out there. Stay inside the air conditioner as well out there. I'm just giving you a hard time. Out of state people, just relax, take a deep breath. They're all probably logging out of the systems right now, and screw him, doesn't care about us. Yeah. Thorsby was denied. We go off air. We did an extra half an hour show yesterday, folks. We were on air till 10:30 talking NBA draft with Bruce Cooper. We get off air and the news starts breaking. Like what? Normally that happens when we get off at 10, 10:15, 10:30 news break. So it's kind of ironic as soon as we go off air. But, we went right off air. And Ethan shows me that Thorsby denied the supplemental draft. We'll break into that here coming up as well from that perspective. He's going to have to wait till next year's NFL draft. They haven't come out and said it, but I'll just tell you guys right now. It's because of the gambling. They don't trust him. They don't think they can't put him into the NFL draft because of the gambling side of it. They're not going to put him in because of the gambling side of it. Message sent by the NFL. College puts up with it. He's ready to be eligible again. It sucks. But hey, you decided to do it. You decided to use intermediaries. You decided to gamble $90,000. You decided to ship money out of state so other people can place bets. Whether you have a problem or not, unfortunately, when you're an athlete, not good. Not good at all out there. We'll talk Thorsby coming up as well. But another quick thing, the NCAA, they're officially adopting the age-based eligibility structure that they've been talking about here for a few months. So you have 5 years to play 5 seasons as what they're going to adopt. No more waivers for year 6, year 7, year 8. no more red shirts. So it's 5 years and 5 seasons from either when you enroll or from the season you turn 19, whichever comes first. So if you're 18 years old and you enroll, we have that time frame. Here's the interesting thing, because listen to that wording, just out of curiosity. The Division I cabinet, by the way, unanimously voted for this new model. It's going to pass. 5 years to play 5 seasons from either when you enroll. That's the key there. Let's focus on that part. Let's say you're a high school senior. Let's say you turn 19 in November. Seniors can be 19 years old. They get held back, for instance. So you turn 19 years old, November, December timeframe. You want to early enroll into college in January, right? A lot of people do that. They leave school, they go to college for that first semester, get acclimated, learn the playbook, do all the fall stuff, everything. So if 5-year clock starts at that moment, according to the NCAA, in January. Let's say you make it to the national championship game, and the national championship game is February 25th. 5 years from now, you're playing in a college season. Your 5-year eligibility ends up in January because that's when you join college. You enter college early. At that point, you're ineligible for the championship game at that point because you're past your 5-year window based on when you enrolled. How is that good for kids? Then now you can do that other weird thing. That's full time. Can you enroll part time to not start that clock right away and stuff like that? The problem with the part time scenario is you can't practice with a team in the spring unless you're full time. That's the little caveats there you got to pay attention to. They're going to stop kids from enrolling early, or you're going to have on the back end possibly college football playoff game they're not going to be eligible for in January. You make it to the second round or the third round of the college football playoffs. The game is January 15th. I'm just making up dates now. Because don't forget, next year's championship game is January 25th. You're ineligible at that point. Yeah. You're going to lose unintended consequences, I think. You're going to lose early enrollees at this point. Why not just start it to where if you early enroll, you practice with the team, it doesn't start until May of that year. Simple thing to fix. But it's going to affect just little things like that, caveats that are coming up, and you hear the wording of that. Now, I do like the fact that you can't extend it anymore. You can't get to year 7, injury concerns, COVID years, the transfer portal, stuff like that. I do like how they're clamping down on that stuff because it has gotten ridiculous in terms of that. Guys in his 8th year, his 10th different team, 8th year. That part has gotten a little ridiculous there. But don't punish early enrollees, kids that can graduate early to get up there and stuff to that. I don't get that side. But that's breaking right now, just in terms of the college stuff as well that you see out there. It's just fascinating how the NCAA still thinks they have power. Fascinating. Here's what's going to happen. Somebody's going to sue on the eligibility requirements. NCAA will back down. Although they'll go into court, but then they'll back down over time because, they're going to lose in the court system and want to do all that stuff. Yeah. It's just, it's an interesting thing that the NCAA has to deal with here, I guess, as we go forward from that point. But just caught my eye. Thought we'd talk about it a little bit as well on that perspective. Yeah. Hey, let's get into it, man. Today you have a lot of World Cup games, 6 of them today. Some of them you're going to want to tune into. But first, yesterday, let's talk yesterday out there. Yesterday was the 23rd. Portugal, as I said, 5-0 over Uzbekistan. Ronaldo, kind of disappointing in that first game against Congo. Hadn't scored since the 2022 World Cup. Got 2 yesterday. 5-0 Portugal over Uzbekistan. England, Ghana, and England. I just don't get England. Every year they're supposed to be this power horse. It's kind of like wars with England. They beat up on the small, back in the day, the 1800s, 1700s. They beat up on all the small countries and everything and won those. They went up against a powerhouse, the U.S., for instance, and they get their butts kicked. I don't know. I don't know why I equated it that way. But England just always disappoints. They're world power and football on the national stage. All the talent in the world in the Premier League. They just always disappoint when it comes to the World Cup, at least a lot lately. Well, they haven't won the championships since what, 1960 something? But England 0, Ghana 0. And Ghana should have won that game. Oh, Lordy. The refs missed the call at the end of that game. I don't know where the VAR was, the replay, to look at that thing. England should have lost yesterday. A 0-0 tie for them going into it. Then Panama lost to Croatia, 1-0. And then Colombia did beat Congo, the Republic of Congo, 1-0 for Colombia as well yesterday. It was unbelievably not that I want to see England lose, but I want it to be fair. An egregious call when you have a replace system, it shouldn't be that faulty. It just should. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I'm not saying they were favored, but you have the review system. Use it, utilize it. Get this side. We talk about this in baseball and things as well from that side. So let me look up here, Group L, just to get you updated, which is the England group here. England still leading. England and Ghana have 4 points right now. Croatia has 3. Panama has 0. That's after 2 games. They still have 1 game left to play here. So England isn't guaranteed to advance. Ghana and Croatia win. They're going to advance over Panama. Eliminated now. They have 0 points. So England's not guaranteed to move on into the next round with that tie yesterday. Just disappointing tie for them as well as they continue. It's just I don't get England, man. It just powers that always fail. Colombia has 6 points in their group there in Group K after yesterday. Portugal has 4. Those two are probably the two that are going on. The question is who's number 1, who's number 2 in this side of it. Congo has 1 point. They have to win their next game and hope that Portugal loses. They tied earlier, so that'll come down to tiebreakers. Uzbekistan is out of it from that perspective as well. Now we're starting the Game 3 portion right here today with all the 6 games on the brackets here coming up today. If you're interested, some good ones as well. The fellow host countries are on tap today. U.S. doesn't play till tomorrow from that perspective. And a game that doesn't mean anything against Turkey or Turkey AI, as they're spelling it now. Bosnia plays Qatar today at noon, I believe, is when that kicks off. Yes, it is. Switzerland, Canada today at noon as well in that Group B. Now, interesting thing about that, they both have 4 points, Canada and Switzerland. Obviously, the winner of this will win this Group B, Canada, Switzerland. The loser probably will advance as well because Bosnia and Qatar both have 1 point. One of those teams, in theory, will win today. They could still tie. A tie eliminates them. But a win puts somebody in contention with the loser of the Canada-Switzerland series. Now, if they tie, they both go to 5 points, and you go to some tiebreaker stuff to move on. But they'll be guaranteed to move on with the tie. How do you play that is kind of what you have to pay attention to today. As well for Switzerland and Canada. Morocco, the darlings of the past World Cup, they're a good team, folks. By the way, Switzerland, Canada at noon today as well. Morocco, Haiti at 3 p.m. our time here today. Morocco is the darling of it. Got a chance to advance as well. They remain the darling of the World Cup. They're a good team to watch, man. Fun to watch as well. Then the game that I'm really looking forward to is I'm rooting for Scotland hard in this one. Scotland, Brazil today in that Group C action for them. Brazil leads this bracket along with Morocco. They're tied at 4 points. Scotland has 3 points. Scotland won one and lost one. Brazil and Morocco both have won and tied a game there for their 4 points. Brazil needs a win to advance, to guarantee an advance and win that bracket, depending on what Morocco does. This is game 3, and then it comes down to tiebreakers. Brazil needs to win. Scotland needs to win to advance. If Scotland can beat Brazil today, they'll bump up. They'll have 6 points to Brazil's 4. A tie doesn't help them unless Morocco loses today to Haiti. A tie doesn't help them. Oof, I'm rooting for Scotland today, folks. I'd love to see Brazil move on. They have the talent to do so. But what the Scots are doing over there in the Boston area is just absolutely fun to go along with here. So I'm going to be rooting. I think Brazil does win it, but I'm going to be rooting for Scotland here today. And it's a big game, 3 p.m. today for this game as well. Then you got South Africa and South Korea battling it out. And then Chechnya, Mexico, the other host country. 6 p.m. for those two countries. Of course, they're out of a Group A here. Mexico is. Mexico's leading that group, 6 points. I believe they've already advanced. I think they've already won the bracket as well, if I remember correctly. But a win today, obviously, for them. Chechnya needs a win. South Korea, South Africa. South Africa and Chechnya have 1 point. Mexico has 6. South Korea has 3. They won 1 and lost 1. Chechnya needs to win. South Korea needs to lose, and Chechnya could advance at that point from that side. So there's some drama here today, as this is the final games starting today for these groups coming up as well. That's all today, yeah. Just for a note for those of you wondering, tomorrow, I believe it's 7 p.m. tomorrow is when the U.S. plays. We'll get you more info on that tomorrow as well coming up. Let me just see here. Yeah, it's not going to come up for me right now. There you go. Some interesting games here in the World Cup Series today. 6 games on the thing. They rushed through the final games because there's some duds that don't matter. But they rushed through them here, obviously, so they can advance to the elimination round, which the U.S. team is moving towards forward to here as well today. There you go. Your World Cup update. Start the show. Have some chanting and some singing and stuff. Like, I watch these games and the way they sing during the thing. Like, I should have like a choir over here that just does random chants during the show and sings along. And none of those horns, though. Those were banned in this World Cup. But none of those horns I'm interested in. I'm not interested in the horns. Just saying. Not at all. No horns. Please, no horns. I was just looking here. Ghana, I told you they got screwed yesterday by the ref and the VAR system, which is the review system they have. They said Ghana said VAR went for coffee, unquote. In that moment, that's great. Went for coffee. Gonna laugh a little bit on that side of things as well. Let's get into the NBA draft here now, right? We'll start this conversation now. A lot of Big 12 players were drafted last night, the first round of the NBA draft. Fantastic to see the NBA draft with so many Big 12 players into it. Just looking here at an update. We just got tagged on about the Cardinals. Is that true? The Cardinals have signed 6 of their 7 2026 draft picks. Only Carson Beck is unsigned. Is that a real thing? I know it's from Sleeper Cardinals, Sleeper AZ Cardinals out there. Ethan tagged us in that. My question is that real? That can't be. Is that real? That's probably real. Only reason I'm having fun with it, folks, is because they're having a contract dispute with Jacoby Brissett right now. And now Carson Beck's your only player not signed right now when you signed your other 6 draft picks. If that's true, you can't rate that yourself. You can't. You can't do it, man. Just Cardinals. Just unbelievable Cardinals. Makes you laugh there. Makes you laugh. Interesting enough, as I told you earlier in the NBA draft, the Cardinals can't sign quarterbacks. Suns had no draft picks yesterday. We talked with Bruce Cooper yesterday about he's like they're going to move up. He thought they would trade, some players to get moved up into the Oklahoma City spot. Didn't do it. Ended up trading there for the final pick of the first round. Was a Dallas pick. Went to the Lakers at one point. The NBA makes everything. On a side note, the NBA makes everything. I have to get comfortable in my chair as I'm about to talk about the NBA because they make everything difficult. From their mid-level exceptions, they have the mid-level to the mid-level. They have the mid-level to the mid-level to the mid-level to the minor league to the upper level exception. In order to calculate, the salary cap, you have to, divide by 7, do a square root of 19, add 32, divide by some random thing that they have. How much coffee's bought by their fan base. They make everything difficult. And I had the draft on last night. I was paying attention to it, but I wasn't like staring at it. Just every time a draft trade happens, like, oh, this draft pick is controlled by this guy. Like, why are the Dallas Mavericks making the pick for the Suns at the end when the Suns own it? It just makes your head hurt, man. Makes your head hurt. Then they're like, oh, you got this trade for this amount and this trade for this amount. It's like, what? The NBA needs to figure this out and make life easier for everybody out there. You'll have more fun fan base if you do that out there. That's all I'm going to say. Interesting enough, before we get into some of the picks and everything, ESPN put out biggest winners and losers in night one of the draft because I was curious. The Suns are really happy with their draft pick of Pete, which they moved up to get him. We'll get into that trade up and stuff in just a minute. The physicality, they're going to love. He fits the culture of this team with Goodwin and his defense, right? And stuff to that. As I said yesterday with Bruce, do we need another guy without an outside shot? Well, we got a guy without an outside shot. It'll be fascinating to see where we go. Okay, he did have one in Arizona, at least. We'll put it that way as well. But ESPN does have biggest winners of round one because I was kind of curious. What does the league think about? What does national coverage think about the Suns moving up, eventually getting Pete from Arizona, Perry High School here in the Valley as well? Biggest winners of round one, they have Utah Jazz picking Darren Peterson. Darren Peterson would have been the number one draft pick. There's Trae Young being in Washington is a fundamental problem with the guy that wants to carry the ball, hold the ball all the time, and do that. So they had to go. Washington had to go AJ, which meant Darren Peterson. Darren Peterson to me is a head case. He's going to have to prove us wrong that he's not a head case. He was putting out there that he never met with the team. Turned out he talked with them several times. Didn't go work out for him. But he went and talked to him and stuff to that stuff. I just think the kid's a bigger problem than what his talent is. And we'll have to see what it does with the Jazz. But they say biggest wins, the Jazz. They say the Memphis Grizzlies are a big win. And I agree with this, by the way. I agree with this. I told you guys yesterday, if you saw me gushing about Cam Boozer. Cameron Boozer, to me, is the steal of the draft in number 3. And he landed with the Memphis Grizzlies. Then they went and got Kareem Lopez. Who, by the way, Kareem Lopez yesterday, good for him, by the way. Let me get the exact wording of this. Kareem Lopez is the first Mexican-born player ever selected in the first round of the NBA draft. So going to Memphis. Memphis traded with, I think, the Pistons to go and get him as well. So first Mexican-born player in the first round, selected in the first round of the NBA draft. That's fantastic. Those little stories right there are great to see it happen as well. I think so. So now, of course, I lost my thing here. So those are the two teams with the win. Biggest surprises of round one. I just want to see what the national media thinks about what the Suns did yesterday. Pete. They traded up to get Pete in the last draft spot, if you don't know what they did. They were picking 47 before, and they moved up to get him. They have Dallas Mavericks, who made a lot of moves yesterday. Biggest surprises of round one, they have Dallas Mavericks. Lorenz Johnson Jr. For them as well. He's a power forward, probably more power forward in the NBA, but he was a center at Michigan. Why is that intriguing? They just hired Michigan's head coach, Dusty May, for the Dallas Mavericks. So ESPN has that as the biggest surprise draft pick as well, which I find it interesting too, is he was the top Wolverine to go in this NBA draft. He wasn't scheduled to be, and they chose him, the Mavericks. So they're saying that's the biggest surprise. They say the Chicago Bulls drafting Dalen Swain as well is a big surprise. He went higher than was expected on most of the mock drafts there, and everything went number 15 to the Bulls. Everybody expected him to go in the 20s from what I saw with my averages and things of the mock drafts and whatnot there. So they said those are the two surprises. They were it all. They were asked what's the best pick of the night. Of course, you've got a couple of the guys around ESPN. Cameron Bruiser to the Memphis Grizzlies at number 3 was Gulliver's best pick of the night. I agree with that. That's Memphis got the best overall player in my point of time. The best ready-made NBA player they got on their team yesterday. The Memphis Grizzlies did. I just think so. He's his dad, who played in the league forever. He's his dad with more talent. His dad was pretty dang good, folks. Now, of course, we're talking about Carlos Boozer, his dad as well. Now, you got some injury concerns. You got some mental concerns. I mean that on the basketball court, right? Turnovers, basketball smarts. But he's got to learn, right? He's 18 years old, folks. Big games can, hurt him a little bit as well. So, best pick of the night that was there. Bobby Marks says LeBaron Fallon Jr. to the 76ers at 22 was the best pick of the draft. Then the other guy there, Woo, with ESPN, said Darren Peterson, the Jazz at number 2, was the best pick of the night from that side. So, right, no talk about the Suns going up and get Koa Pete, which, wondering what the national media thinks of it as well. They asked what title contenders helped themselves the most last night. Well, obviously, Suns aren't involved in that. They are not a title contender. But they obviously rank the Thunder as one of those. These guys do amazing things around the draft. They do amazing things outside the draft. The Thunder continue to improve themselves by making the right moves at draft time, and it's like everything they touch turns to gold. Bobby Marks says the New York Knicks. They traded 3 times. Did they trade down 3 times yesterday? Yeah. They actually, in fact, I can tell you, they added 5 second-round picks and cash considerations. Now, the problem that the Knicks have, so Bobby Marks says the Knicks improved themselves by trading down. Now, keep in mind, they're right on that edge of the second apron, and their owner, James Dolan, worst owner in sports, an absolute jerk of a guy. I don't care that he's won a title and everybody loves him now. Doesn't mean he's not a jerk anymore. He said no second apron for us, and they're right on that second apron. They traded down cash considerations, 5 second-round picks for them. Yeah. I do like what the Spurs did yesterday. They got physical yesterday, which, not that they got bullied in the NBA playoffs or in the NBA finals. They just got outshot in the NBA finals, right? They got more physical up front. Wembanyama did get physical against the Knicks, right? Got tired as those games went on. Adding physicality to kind of help out with that, get people off of him, physical back type of situation. And so I like it. I like it as well. By the way, Jaden Quintons to the San Antonio Spurs yesterday in the draft. Who's not ready. He's not going to play a lot in his first year. He's probably going to be a G League player, maybe go back and forth. Jaden Quintons, of course, Arizona State as a 17-year-old 2 years ago. Went to Kentucky, played, 1 game last year, coming off his injury. Jaden Quintons went to the San Antonio Spurs. Therese Reed Jr., though, who is NBA ready, went to the Spurs as well. Very physical players. As I told you, we talked yesterday, Jaden Quintons dropped because of his injury stuff. Everything I saw, 3 of the 4 mock drafts when they're talking about Jaden Quintons talked about his physical and how he could be the best defender in this draft. And the Spurs got him. So when he gets healthy and is able to get in there, their play as well. So, yeah. Nobody has Go Pete winning, Rookie of the Year this year or anything to that effect. I'm just looking, not a lot of talk with what the Suns did yesterday. A lot of talk about the Bucks, of course, and things because of trading Giannis. They don't even want to address it yesterday as well. So yeah. So just giving you the national perspective here of NBA guys. Your son's moving up to get Koa Pete's not on anybody's list. That doesn't surprise me, but it is something you know you looked into. I was reading about it last night. Looked again this morning to see if anybody put it in there as something to pay attention to. Nobody. Phoenix Suns, the forgotten land of, you know, mediocrity, I guess you can say, in the national media's eyes, at least. And when we come back, we'll get into what the Suns gave up for Koa Pete. I just wanted to give you an overview of after the draft day, kind of what, I went to the Athletic, the Yahoo Sports. Nobody's bringing up what the Suns did at any of their stuff. Naturally, they focus on contenders and teams that improve themselves. Suns just aren't in that light right now. Come back, we'll talk about that Koa Pete trade, how they got him, what they gave up for him, and stuff to that effect. We'll tell you about the Big 12 players drafted yesterday. Round 2 is tonight. Did the Suns move back into it? I doubt it. But you never know. With these guys, they like somebody, they go get them. Talk about it. Coming back, the main event. And we're back here, main event, of course, here on this Wednesday. I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum. Dale Hellestrae is off again today. Of course, it's vacation time around a lot of the sports world right now, and take advantage of it. Get the batteries refreshed here, leading up into the football season as well. So, Ethan does say USA plays Turkey at 7 p.m. tomorrow as well. And Ethan said, because Ethan tagged me on that, and he says, yeah, only Carson hasn't been signed. He said several outlets, so he researched that for me there, so I appreciate that, Ethan. What's with the Cardinals not signing quarterbacks? Robert says Beck's agent is probably using the Brissett issue in negotiations. My guy could be your starter, which means guaranteed more money, stuff to that effect. They're well, I guess you can argue guaranteed money. You're slotted for the amount of money you get. But I guess you can. Can you argue get more guaranteed money? You probably can. But you're slotted for the amount for the most part. You're right. Guaranteed time, guaranteed contracts. For a third rounder, for a quarterback, you want to guarantee that fifth round. You want a 5-year? Does Carson Beck want a 4-year deal? And it's all slotted and things. But again, doesn't it just set the narrative? The bigger thing is, doesn't it set the narrative that the Cardinals can't sign their quarterbacks? Sorry, folks. It's sad. It's just sad. What are we doing? The Cardinals cannot get out of their own way when it comes to narratives and how they run an organization, folks. They just can't. It's disgusting. They need help. They need help in the quarterback spot. They gave up on a very talented Kyler Murray. I'm not going to argue whether you like it or not. It's probably time Kyler Murray moves on. Not a fit in this organization. I think Kyler Murray could have done well with this new head coach in this system if he'd work with him. They probably felt he couldn't work with them. So it's just time to move on. I felt probably for both sides of it. And you need help at quarterback position. Gardner Minshew's not it, folks. I like Gardner Minshew to start 2, 3, 4 games this season. And that's it. He's your only quarterback on the roster right now. Well, him and, Slovis? Oh, my God. I'm getting depressed, folks. I'm getting depressed right now. Cardinals have signed everybody but Carson back. It's so stupid. What a crap organization. Am I right, folks? Big 12 players. I can't wait for my next payment to go through for the Cardinals now and next, right? Big 12 players selected in the first round of the NBA draft last night, as we're talking NBA right now. Obviously, number one to the Wizards was AJ Debansa, going number one to the Wizards. I think that's a good pick for them. I like Darren Peterson better as a talented player. Again, Peterson to me has a mental thing where if he doesn't get his way, he turns into a giant crybaby. So they probably got lucky there not picking him. The Jazz end up picking Darren Peterson from Kansas and then number 2 spot. So 1 and 2 was Big 12 players, folks. Then you got to go down to number 8. The Atlanta Hawks took Kingston Flemings. He played for Houston last year at the number 8 pick. Milwaukee Bucks took Braden Burries there from Arizona at number 10. I love the mock drafts. I saw Burries going 8 or 9 yesterday is what people were thinking. So he ends up going 10 to the Bucks. Braden Burries to a revamped Bucks, new head coach this year. No Giannis. That team's just kind of turning over a little bit in terms of talent. They get Tyler Hero and some other quality players from from the Miami Heat. Burries, and I like Burries a lot. Going number 10 to the Milwaukee Bucks. Number 18, you got the Charlotte Hornets taking Christian Anderson. If I remember correctly, I think he was Tech last year. Texas Tech is where he played as well. Cameron Carr, who Bruce Cooper liked a lot to the Suns to trade up and get him. If they were going to trade up, Cameron Carr to the Knicks yesterday at number 24. For that, I do like that pick by the Knicks as well. He's going to fit into that organization and that team fairly well. Cameron Carr will. From that, Boston Celtics to Chris Sinak Jr. from Houston at number 27. The Minnesota Timberwolves, Joshua Jefferson, who I believe was at Iowa State last year, if I remember correctly. I might be wrong on a couple of these schools, but I'm pretty sure he was Iowa State, number 28 for him. Then, technically, like I said, some of these teams were trades, so it's who they were drafted by, even though the rights are someplace else. Like number 30, you got to say the Dallas Mavericks picked Koa Pete from Arizona. But in actuality, it's the Phoenix Suns picking Koa Pete, but the NBA has to be difficult, makes your head hurt on how they do this stuff. I don't understand. Just say the trades aren't official. That's why they can't do it. So dumb. Just makes it ridiculous to watch your stuff, NBA. But Koa Pete, of course, taken technically by the Dallas Mavericks, even though he is, and then taken by the Dallas Mavericks, but the pick was traded to the Knicks. And then the Knicks traded it to the Suns. It's Koa Pete. But we had to say Dallas Mavericks drafted him. Ridiculous. So Big 12 players in the NBA draft, some success there in that first round for a lot of these guys out there. I think that's fantastic for a really good conference out there as well for the Big 12. Now, as I said, the Suns traded up for Koa Pete. So what did they give up for him? Is first thing you want to look at, first thing you want to pay attention to and everything? So New York traded the number 25 pick, Sergio Delaria, to the Dallas Mavericks for number 30 in Koa Pete at that time. And 2 second-round draft picks is how it started. So the Knicks traded with the Mavericks. Then the Knicks traded Koa Pete to the Phoenix Suns for 3 rounders and cash. 3 second rounders, excuse me. Knicks move out of the first round. We told you Knicks want nothing to do with that first round. They don't want to go up against that second apron. Picked up 5 seconds in this and cash is what we're talking about here in terms of that's how we got to Koa Pete to Phoenix is that type of movement. So Phoenix actually sent number 47 of this year, so they have no second round pick among the 3 second rounders to New York. So the Knicks add the 47th pick this year, number 31 and number 55 in the second round tonight in the NBA draft. So they're all that they get the first pick of this second round. What does that mean? Now, starting tonight, not guaranteed money for these guys. Whereas yesterday would have been guaranteed money. Cole Pete's on a guaranteed contract, folks, for your Phoenix Suns when he does sign as well. Now, I'll tell you right now, the Knicks are moving the 31 pick. They are. They're going to move them. They'll move it before the start of the draft tonight. Probably midday, we're going to hear the Knicks traded that 31 pick. Get some more second-round draft picks and things like that from that. But that's how you got Koa Pete. You gave up your second rounder this year, 2 other second-rounders to New York. That's how you got Koa Pete. I have 0 issue with that trade. I don't know about you guys. I did hear some people say, well, that's a lot to give up for him. I don't think so. I am a little concerned. That's great, right? Local kid, local family, local good family here in town. Fantastic. He's going to stay home for the Suns. He's got the mindset to do it, right? A lot of kids staying home. You got a lot of entourage around him. He's just not that type of kid. Koa Pete is. Parents won't have to travel far to see him, right? Moving forward as well. But if you want to break it down in terms of basketball skills, Koa Pete's got a lot of skills. He's got a lot of physicality, plays physical. But another player on this Suns team struggles on the jump shot outside. Gonna have to develop that. Like Ryan Dunn, if they keep him. Bruce Cooper advocates getting rid of Dunn. If they keep Dunn, he's still developing that outside shot. Koa Pete's going to have to do it. Oso, he needs to move to the 4. He's an undersized 5, right? Center. He needs to move over to the 4. Malawatch can start at 5. But to shoot at 4, you got to bring your guy out. You got to be able to shoot from the, angles out there, from the corners of the lane and things to that effect. I like Koa Pete on this team. I know the Suns like his physicality, which is his upside and his size. 0 issue with that trade. Trading second rounders in the NBA, if you don't know, don't matter. They trade them like they're candy. Because they don't matter. The proof of that is the Knicks traded out of the first round, got five second round picks in this draft. Because they don't care. Second rounders don't matter. So I'm happy with it. What do you guys think? Reach out. Hit us up. And the chat, TME Media AZ on YouTube. Just hit the like button there, and it pops right up for you. Let us know if you think they gave up too much, what you think about it. Like I said, I think he's going to do all right. The kid has won everywhere he's been. I'm not worried about his winning mentality. I'm not worried about him not having success in the NBA either. It's another player that struggles with outside shooting. Do I think he can get better? Absolutely. We'll have to wait and see. And they didn't give up too much, in my opinion. So let me know. Or hit us up on the chat, 623-252-6670. And then, of course, you've got, sorry, I just saw a text on here. And then you've got on X as well, at TME Sports Show. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Farmer Braxton says, why hasn't Beck signed his contract yet? I don't know. Let's just say the Cardinals don't like to sign their quarterbacks. Let me see if I can find. I know I don't like to do production here on the show. I apologize. Something that just popped up today. I had no idea, no plan on talking about this. Let's see. Caleb Proctor signed as of 2 days ago. I'm just looking to see if there is anything that says if Carson Beck is doing what Robert said in the YouTube chat. Carson Beck's agent is saying, hey, guaranteed money, right? He could be your starter type of a situation. Let's see. So Proctor was the one other player not signed a couple days ago. Remember, he's the one that tore his, I think, his meniscus during OTAs. He's expected to miss most of the season, possibly the whole season as well, coming up here. Yeah. Obviously, Carson Beck took advantage and participated in rookie minicamp, OTAs, and veteran minicamp as well for him. I see nothing in here saying that there's any rumors on why they haven't come to a contract agreement. But again, let me look here. Again, isn't this the narrative of the Cardinals? Jacoby Brissett's in a holdout mode, looking to sign a deal. Carson Beck isn't signed now as well. Because you're slotted in the NFL. And I can tell you right now, was he third round? Carson Beck? He's going to sign a deal in the, I think it's $7 to $8 million range. It'll be a 4-year deal. Now, are you arguing over a 5th-year team option? What are you arguing about? And I don't see anything. I just did a quick little search here as well. On what it could be. But 4 years, $7.5 million deal probably is what that spot will go for. It's slotted. Are you arguing other stuff out there? Is kind of the question. He's going to take a pay cut from his Miami days. There's no doubt about that. He's going to make, anywhere from 1 to, 1.5 to in between 1.5 and $2 million probably per year as well for Carson Beck. That's the expectation. And actually just popped up here. Yep. So his slot is 4 years, $7.4 million is what his slot is for that 3rd round draft pick for Carson Beck. It's slotted. What are you arguing about? Where's Jacoby Brissett at? The narrative is, like I said, this was not something I planned to talk about today, so I didn't delve down into the research, so I apologize for the production on air right now, as it just hit. It's the narrative of the Cardinals, folks. This is hilarious. And how mismanaged this team did. Even if it's an innocent thing and nothing, they were focusing on all the other players before they got to Carson Beck. That's a possibility. But it's the narrative and how it looks with Jacoby Brissett still being negotiated with as well. It's kind of interesting that you're looking at there. Robert says, I guess the next proactive thing the Cards do will be the first proactive thing the Cards do. Yeah. I don't know, Braxton, with your text. I have no idea, man. It's not a good look. It's just not a good look. I'm sorry. Oh, you can only laugh because the only other option is you cry. What if they go into training camp with just Gardner Minshew on their quarterback thing? Gardner Minshew and Slovis. Oh, this organization. It's the perception. Even if there's something innocent reason why he's not signed, even if there's something just simple, they want a 5th-year play team option, his team doesn't want it. Even if it's just something simple, it's the perception that looks terrible. Terrible. Oh, my God. I have to yell at Ethan for bringing this into the zeitgeist today. Letting us know Carson Beck's the only one not signed. Robert says, Suns have a ton off wings. Pete may not play outside much. Does need a mid-range game. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying outside to the 3-point line, anything like that. Go Pete's going to need a mid shoot range. He's going to need it. I'm not saying 3-pointers. I'm not saying play out on the perimeter. Same thing with I think I would count his offensive game more like Oso's offensive game, where you pull the guy out to the top of the key area, off to the side a little bit in that area, get the ball there, and you can do your work. You have to have a threat of shot there, or else guys are just going to lay off you. And stuff like that. So that's what I mean more by the mid-range game for Cole Pete more than I do the outside shot. We don't need any more guys that stand out at the 3-point line and shoot out there. We don't need that. That's what I would look for more for Kopi to develop moving forward as well. So it'll be interesting to see where we go. Man, this Carson Beck thing just depressed me today. Let's take our first hour break here. Let's get our depression out. It's just the perception that's ridiculous. This team cannot get out of its own. The perception. Come on back, folks. Second hour main event coming up next. Main event, second hour of it. I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum, and of course, 17-year NFL veteran Dale Hellestrae off today again. Should be back tomorrow for the beginning of the show. Well, we'll see if he makes it back. I'm always kind of weary of guys coming back on vacation. You know, might need a vacation from the vacation. Of course, Uncle Lou comes in tomorrow at 9:00, as well as we got an overnight UFC. An early morning main card coming up this weekend for the UFC coming up. Of course, college baseball's done. We talked about the College World Series. Gave props to Oklahoma yesterday for their win. I decided yesterday I'm not going to rethink. I still think if you're under 500 in your conference play, you shouldn't make a playoff tournament. Shouldn't make the NCAA tournament. You shouldn't make the college football playoff. You just shouldn't make the College World Series. Even though Oklahoma bucked that trend and ended up winning it with the 14-16 SEC record, they finished 11th in the SEC. I'm going to stick to that, even though Oklahoma did do it. The one sport I would say you can allow it would be baseball, to be honest with you. Because baseball, you can just get hot with a hot pitcher. Your bats can get hot, like Oklahoma did. Got to give them props for doing it. That's definitely... for sure, and kind of what you're looking at, but it doesn't mean I have to like how I feel about it. And no, folks, it's not because it's an SEC school, and y'all know my feelings on the SEC. Overrated. Obviously, this just shows the SEC is overrated. See how animated I just got thinking about it? Texas didn't deserve a 2 seed. Georgia didn't deserve the 6 seed or whatever they were. They didn't. Their best team was 11th in their conference. The best team was 11th in the conference. The other teams weren't best-ranked teams. Rankings are garbage. I think that's what that proves more than anything, to be honest with you. Don't forget, like and subscribe our YouTube page, TME Media AZ. Join the chat there as well. Text us, 623-252-6670 on our text line, like Braxton did this morning. And, folks, he doesn't want me to say who he is. Well, actually, I don't know because he hasn't named himself out there. I just see a number here, which, of course, we don't out here. But the Tories got to go text to the text line, 623-252-6670. Been pretty steady. Remember, they died down for a little bit. They've been pretty steady for 8, 9. Uh, 10 days now. Steady again. Died down for a little bit. I don't know if I went on vacation or what. But every day, load up the text line and I see Tori's got to go with a lot of O's. I'm about to count these O's one day. See how many are there for that text line. Of course, TME Sports Show as well. You can tag us on. We'll see it as well, folks. We're happy for the interactions, however you want to do it. We don't get mad about it. If you have an opinion, you're scared to give your opinion. We generally don't make fun of you about it. We just talk about it and bring it out and stuff to that effect and things. So don't hit us up, whether you're listening to us live, watching us live on YouTube, whether you're catching us on demand later on YouTube or over at Rumble or on the free podcast system at TME Sports Show is where you can find on your podcast system, or just search the main event with Steven or the main event with Dale. It pops right up for you as well. And we appreciate it very much, you guys joining us as well out there. Let's get into some NFL talk here as well, right? We talked earlier about Carson Beck, kind of hit the show out of nowhere today. I'm going to do more research on that tonight, just so you know as well. Don't forget, we're taking Fridays off here as well. For those of you who don't catch the first hour, we're taking Fridays off here through the end of July, right? The Cardinals training camp starts July 22nd. Obviously, this Friday we're taking off, but next week being July 4th, as I said, we'll definitely be here Monday and Tuesday next week. We are definitely off Thursday and Friday of next week because of the July 4th holiday. Me and the fam are getting out of here and going to San Diego. We're just going to let everybody recharge their batteries with the holiday on Saturday this year. The question mark is Wednesday, and I'll have that answer actually later on today, a week from now. I don't know if we'll be here on Wednesday. We're planning on being here as of now. That court thing I got with the tenant situation and, the cities, doing their thing. I have a court date on that day. And I'm not going to lie to you. I don't remember if it's early in the morning or if it's in the afternoon. I think it's at 2 p.m. But I got to double check that. So Wednesday's kind of up in the air. I'll have that answer for you guys later on. But definitely Monday, Tuesday, we'll be here next week as well, coming back as well. So just give you an idea of the programming notes. But Friday's off until around July 22nd. We'll keep you updated on that. Actually, there is a Friday coming up, and it might be that Friday. It might be that last week there. There is a Friday where Lou has to move from Thursday or to Friday. And I told Lou, I said, that's fine. Well, I'll come in and do if we're off that day, which I don't remember what that date is off the top of my head right now. But I told him, I said, it might be the 24th, which we'll be back by then. But I told Lou, I said, doesn't matter. I'll come in and do a show with you on Friday. We're taking Friday off from being on air, just so you guys know. Next week's different. We'll be in San Diego next week. But we're taking Fridays off, not because we're taking Fridays off and we just want to lounge around by the pool. We're getting stuff done around the studio. We're doing some graphics work. We're learning some things. Ethan's working with us this summer before he goes off to college, and we're doing some AI stuff and trying to play with that a little bit, getting our eyes around what we like on that. So we are working on Friday, just so you know. We're not taking it. I don't know why I'm justifying it to you. But we are working on Friday and stuff we need to get done. It's hard to do when you're on air, obviously, type of thing. So hopefully make these improvements going forward. But enough of me justifying us and our decision. We appreciate you joining us very much on that. But yesterday we go off air. Went long yesterday. Went to 10:30 with Bruce Cooper. Talking NBA draft, which we talked in the first hour for those of you catching in on the second hour here. But then we go off air and literally it breaks. No supplemental draft for the NFL. Now, the NFL, the supplemental draft is something you have to apply to. It's something the NFL has to say yes to. I scoured the internet last night and even this morning. And a mum on this, probably because a lawsuit is going to come out of this from the Sorsby side. I question if there's any teams that said they were interested in drafting him. Here's the difference, because we've seen this correlation a lot when he was going back to Texas Tech. The correlation was, well, he's not killing people. He's not beating up his girlfriend. He's not murdering people in cars. They're using that correlation. I'm not justifying those actions here when I say this. Here's the difference. if I was an NFL team and I look at it from that perspective, here's the difference, or the NFL compared to college. In the NFL, you get domestic violence, domestic abuse charges against you. You get a few games suspension, 4, 6 game suspension, even if it's 8. You get a suspension in that range. You get in a car wreck and you were speeding, yeah, you get suspended. We've seen it a lot throughout the years. You just get a few game suspension, whatever it is, 6, 8, 4, 2. You get that. Gambling is completely different. You get half a season suspension if you just load a gambling gambling app up in a team facility, whether that be the airplane that you're riding onto your game or back home, whether it be the locker room. If you load it up while you're on team grounds and FanDuel or DraftKings or Caesars reports you, automatic multi-game suspension. You bet on your team in the NFL, automatic 2-year suspension. The penalties for gambling are worse than all the other terrible things people do in the NFL and get caught. Well, everybody, every aspect of life, not just the NFL. But the penalties for gambling are way worse. And there's no bend in them. As opposed to domestic violence, there's some bend in those. As opposed to driving recklessly, there's some bend in those. Rashee Rice last year gets out of a car on a freeway with guns on him and just walk off the freeway. What was he suspended last year? 6 games? That's it? He just went to jail for 30 days because he broke his probation. Is he getting suspended again? He already served his punishment. Is he going to get suspended again? I can tell you this, it ain't going to be a year-long one. The punishment for gambling is way worse. And my question is this. We'll probably never get the answer, or it'll leak out later on because lawsuits are coming. Most of the teams looked at this and said, I was reading over the weekend, last week, end of the weekend, some beat reporters with the Jets flat out saying Jets have no interest in Sorsby because of the gambling threats. You're not going to waste a first or second round or even a third round pick on a guy that you could lose because he makes a poor decision and loads up a gambling app at the wrong time. You can lose him for a year. You can lose him for 2 years if he dare bets on your team. You can win money going against the Jets, folks. That's my question. Did the NFL say no? Okay. Then here's the other side of it. Did they say no because every team flat out said, we're not going to take him? Or, which I think is the bigger thing here than that, I do think this right now is where I'm leaning. I think the NFL's looking at this saying, we take gambling so seriously. We suspend people for loading an app up and not doing anything on it, just loading it up. Not even gambling in a locker room, on a team plane, in a team hotel against the rules. And they come down on people on that. There's no bend in it. Is the NFL flat out saying this is our opportunity to show how seriously we take gambling? No flexibility on it. I think this is more of it. The NFL's looking at the Sorsby situation, and they're saying, we're not going to give you any flexibility because of what you did. You did the thing. He could have beaten up his girlfriend. He could have crashed the car and killed somebody, a la the Georgia kids. He could have done any of that. He'd be a supplemental draft right now. Gambling continues to be the taboo. It doesn't matter how talented you are, they're not going to be flexible with you on. So Sorsby, no supplemental draft. Now his side is threatening to sue. Interesting enough, his lawyer yesterday said this goes against the law and the CBA agreement. I saw people smarter than me and lawyers and stuff yesterday come out with the CBA language, and it flat out says the supplemental draft is at the discretion of the NFL. Period. There's a period at the end of that. This isn't against it. There's a difference between college, the NCAA, and threatening lawsuits in the NFL. The NFL will take you to court. The NFL will waste millions of dollars on law fees fighting something. They don't care if they deem it right. And the other side of it is this. So I think the NFL is just saying we're not putting up with this. You're more than welcome to do whatever you want to do this year. And we'll see you in the 2027 draft. And his punishment's going to be one. So I read also, I read also he was getting a $6 million roughly NIL from Texas Tech to move from Cincinnati to Texas Tech. Again, I have questions. Texas Tech, he was there for Tech. Cincinnati denies they knew about his gambling stuff while he was there. Folks, I just can't believe that. People knew. They had to. I just don't understand how you wouldn't know. And he only gets caught and it comes out when he goes to Texas Tech. Too coincidental for me. Right? But Cincinnati's getting away with it for 2 years when he was there. Texas Tech wasn't able to. Not sure about that. The NFL is just like, we're not going to let you get away with it. Now he's going to take a year off of football because he's got no other choice. Even if he wanted to play in another league, which he'd be allowed to do, let's say the UFL, they're not playing until what, February next year? And by then he's getting ready for the NFL draft. His punishment, which means he's not going to be a high draft, he would be a first rounder next year if he played football, college football this year. I believe so. First, second rounder. He's going to go third, fourth, fifth round. They're going to cost him a ton of money in this. It is ultimately his fault, right, on the gambling side. And I understand. I just want to go on a side note here. We don't get into politics and stuff to that effect. And I know gambling can be bad. It ruins a lot of people. I joke around on it. We have gambling talk here. Lou comes in and we talk about it. Gamble responsibly, man. I just, UFC is kind of like a lower end thing for me. I just have fun. I put $100 into my gambling account when gambling became legal here. I haven't refilled it since. I'm playing off that initial 100, and actually I've withdrawn money a couple times to get there. I've still lost a ton of money gambling. You just make it up, with some wins. And I do $5 at a time. Every once in a while I get a little brave and I do $10. Sometimes. It's just, for me, I'm just playing with the $100 that I have, that it doesn't matter if I lose it. If I lose it, well, if I have the money at that time, I'll put another $100 in. I just haven't had to do it yet. In the 3 years gambling's been legal. I'm not saying that to brag. And I have people that say, man, why don't you put more money down? Because I don't want to. I don't want to lose that. I'm prepared to lose $100. I don't want to lose $200. I don't want to lose $300. We all work hard for our money. That's just my opinion. Same thing with Vegas. I'll go to Vegas with a set amount. And that's gone. Oh, well, time to move on. It was fun while it lasted. See you later. Salute it. Thank you for your service, 50s. It's just be responsible about it. But you know what I do differently? So I understand the perils of gambling. I had an uncle who's since passed on in life. I had an uncle that had a gambling problem to the point where he pretty much got kicked out of Vegas. Was banned from every casino and everything. Because he had an grew up in Vegas, by the way. Well, outside of Vegas, and then was in Vegas. I've seen the perils of gambling addiction and gambling waste firsthand when I was a kid. They kept a lot of it from me. I've heard a lot of it since and stuff like that. So gambling's bad. But can you argue that gambling, which is a self-inflicted wound, is as bad as killing somebody, speeding in a car, or beating up your wife/girlfriend in an elevator? Here's the other side of it. The moral outrage from the NFL on this gambling side disgusts me when they just don't care about the other stuff. That's worse. Anyway, that's as close to the political as I'm going to get on this show with that talk. I'd rather have everybody gambling than beating everybody up and killing people in cars while they're driving fast and acting like idiots. I would. Call me weird. Say you hate me. Whatever you want to do. I don't care. Ethan's getting mouthy on the chat. Jeez. Why are we talking about my work with the AI programs instead of talking sports? Well encompassing here, Ethan. Robert also says, how is he subject to the CBA if he's not in the NFL? He's not, first of all. Until they said they were going to do a supplemental draft and he gets drafted, he's not subject to it. That's always been the argument, right? A kid like Larry Tunsil, right? The gas mask and the weed and stuff like that. He didn't drop because he was breaking CBA rules while he was waiting to be drafted. He had no punishment from that, if you remember. His punishment was teams went, well, we're not drafting that kid. If he's dumb enough to do that and have it come out on draft day, we're not drafting that kid, then you fall. That's the punishment usually. This is a different situation. The punishment is we're not doing the supplemental draft for you right now. I even thought this. I even went so far, and I'm pretty sure I said it on air a week or two ago when he said he was going to the supplemental draft. I was 99% sure whoever drafted him would draft him with the agreement and known that he wouldn't play this year. Like he would be just suspended this year because of it. The NFLPA wants a Sorsby on a roster. That means more money for them. He's going to command more money than a guy that's going to get cut later on. So why not have him be drafted and then suspend him for a year? That's what kind of makes me wonder, did the team say they're not interested in drafting him? Instead of embarrassing him on that front where you do a supplemental draft, nobody drafts him. Then what do you do? Can you go in the NFL draft in 2027 if you're not supplementally drafted? I guess you could. Just won't be drafted again, right? So they sent a letter to Sorsby yesterday. The NFL did. General Counsel of the NFL Management Council said, we're in receipt of your petition for special eligibility dated June 16th. As announced earlier today, the league has elected not to conduct a supplemental draft this year. And this is where they go on the law side. Under our collective bargaining agreement, the league maintains sole discretion to determine whether it is appropriate to conduct a supplemental draft in any given year. They did a supplemental draft at one time for Josh Gordon. On a side note, this is where the outrage should be around. You do drugs constantly. We're not sure if you can get off the weed. Remember Josh Gordon's problem? Whether you agree with it or not, he just couldn't get off the stuff, and it cost him his career multiple times. They did a supplemental draft for him. Spare me with this. Woe is me, NFL. Woe is me. We can't have bad people in our organization. And that's what kind of bothers me about this. But I digress. And they go on and say the league has not conducted such a draft for several years. And prior to your submission, the league had no plans to do so this year. And no other player has sought entry. They do it in other previous years with nobody. It takes 10 minutes to do. It's literally done by email now, folks. Team emails in and goes, 3rd round, or no draft, or 6th round, and it sends it off. Takes 10 minutes. The NFL's acting like they have to set up the TV cameras and stuff to do it, right? It went on to say, your petition, filed 3 business days before the deadline, Without any supporting information or documentation, and only after abandoning your recent litigation efforts to avoid NCAA sanctions, does not provide a basis for the league to alter those plans. The issues presented by your petition are too significant and too closely tied to the league's core integrity interests to pervert meaningful review within the time presented. This is my problem with the NFL. We've already talked about it. They're saying his issue is too significant, too closely tied with the league's core integrity interests. But drug usage isn't. Killing kids while driving isn't. Really? The way you can have them in the draft? I know it's supplemental's different. I get it. That's what you want to hold your hat on, huh? All right, NFL. They went on to say the sole reasons identified in your petition for seeking entry into the supplemental draft are that you have been declared ineligible by the NCAA. That is a rule to be in the supplemental, as you cannot have any options left. And then it went on to say, and, quote, want to now play in the NFL, unquote. The petition provides no information regarding the basis for or timing of the NCAA's decision. Public sources, however, indicate that in May 2026, the NCAA issued a determination declaring you permanently ineligible from participation in college athletics based on a sustained pattern of improper gambling activity during your collegiate career at 3 different universities. The league does not have the complete record of the NCAA's investigation. You did not provide any such materials with your petition. Available information nonetheless indicates that over the course of your collegiate career, you knowingly engaged in repeated and significant violations of NCAA rules designed to preserve the integrity of the athletic competition. Reported conduct includes placing wagers on your own team and teammates, and to avoid detection, establishing or funding accounts in the names of intermediaries who place bets on your behalf. There are also reports that you may have violated state criminal laws. This is all just reporting. They don't have an investigation on it. They're just doing what's out there in the public world right now with no proof behind it. Your petition does not address these matters, nor does it demonstrate accountability for your conduct or indicate whether or how you would adhere to the league's rules and policies governing the integrity of competition. Instead, even after receiving notice of the NCAA's decision rescinding your college eligibility in May, you sought to avoid the consequences of that determination through litigation rather than accepting responsibility for your actions. And you pursued entry into the NFL only after abandoning those efforts. What does what he did in college have to do with his NFL career and what he's going to do there? The NFL, they're going to start going back to junior high and high school. Hey, in high school, you did this. They already do that in the draft process, by the way. Spencer Rattler, for instance, had an issue at Chandler High School where his teammates didn't like him too much. That came up during NFL draft time. They do those investigations for the draft, and a team doesn't feel comfortable, they don't draft him, right? As Commissioner Goodell, the letter went on to say, has emphasized, participation in the NFL is a privilege that carries with it significant responsibility, including accountability. Is Rashi Rice done accountability for his actions? Has anybody seen Rashi Rice say, I'm never going to do this again? He just broke his probationary stuff and had to go to jail for 30 days. Has Rashi Rice got accountability for it? By all accounts, you're a talented player with the potential for future success. We encourage you to focus on preparing for the possible entry into the NFL through the 2027 NFL annual draft, is what they went on to say. Right? Jim Harbaugh violated NCAA rules in the NFL as a coach. Rashi Rice broke NFL rules but driving, guns, etc. How many people have beaten their spouses over the years? Ray Rice was allowed back in till the video came out. They're putting their foot down on the gambling side of it, self-inflicted gambling side of it, without the facts and everything. Just going off of media reporting. I find it interesting that and this is the question I got. Now, Sorsby doing something I'm not particularly fond of. He's becoming the guy that sues over everything. That's not somebody you want to be known as. This coach benches him. Is he going to be like, I'm going to sue you, coach? That is a concern in my eyes right now. Because the second this letter came out, his lawyers, we're going to sue. At some point, yeah, you become that litigious guy all the time, and nobody wants to deal with you anymore. Because you want to sue about everything. Fascinating, right? But at the same time, he's got to fight for his right to get into this stuff. Now, the NFL has the opportunity. And this is my bigger concern is this. I got to be careful here. We don't know for a fact somebody from Cincinnati's side fed it to the federal investigators that he gambled. But I also don't think you can tell me nobody at Cincinnati knew. They do background checks on these guys. You can't tell me Cincinnati didn't know he was gambling. And you go into that side. He could have gone into the draft this year, but he was going to make $6 million at Texas Tech. Going to take that money. Yes, it's his fault for gambling. 1,000% yes. But it's the old adage here in the NFL that I struggle with. I know some of you out there say, we did it in college. It shouldn't matter to the NFL. And it generally doesn't. They go through the draft process, and teams will slide you down. Larry Tunsil's the perfect example. He slid down the draft when that gas mask incident came out. You do that process. A lot of teams won't draft Sorsby because of the gambling concerns. And the NFL now is just hanging their lights on that. Oh, you kill somebody over speeding a car, and you kill a nice 18-year-old girl in your car while you're speeding. Oh, we'll have you in the draft anyway. Teams will decide. Now all of a sudden, I don't get it. The NFL's inconsistencies up and down. You want him to have accountability. What's worse, folks? Self-inflicted gambling concerns or beating up an innocent wife? What's more damning? Self-inflicted gambling wounds or driving your car and killing somebody, an innocent person? NFL's fine with those things. Oh, we'll just suspend you for a couple games. It's this hypocrisy and ridiculousness by the NFL is what drives me nuts. They're against gambling, but they take billions of dollars a year from the gambling company. Nobody? NFL owners are investors in FanDuel and DraftKings. That's how they got started. NFL owners got involved with them. Now you're going this far on the gambling side. It's just the hypocrisy of it. Interesting enough, I think I'm not going to say this is the right decision for the NFL. If I was the NFL, I'd have the supplemental draft and then let teams decide. What I would do, whether he goes or not. And then suspend him for the year. To go this hard-handed looks a little weird in my eyes when you look at all the other things that, to my eyes, are worse. Yeah, I like I said, I've been around gambling issues, folks. I had an uncle. Had to move from Las Vegas when I was a kid because he had a gambling problem. I see what it does. I've seen it. Had conversations with my parents. We'd go visit, and they'd be like, do not bring this up. Do not bring this up. We had to get a lecture on what we could talk about in front of him and stuff like that. Put your foot down in this scenario is interesting to me for the NFL, is what I'm getting at. I don't know if I'm explaining it right to you. I do think he needs punishment for gambling. Right? Robert says, it sounds like the NFL is saving the Cardinals from themselves. Would it be different if he wasn't a QB? Can't have this guy be a leader on your team. That's the other side of it, Robert. You bring up the good point. I believe they're judging a quarterback differently than they would anybody else. I feel that way about if he drove a car and killed somebody, a la some defensive linemen in the league. I'd feel different if he beat up a girl. Quarterbacks get viewed differently as leaders of the team and stuff to that effect. It just, the NFL being the arbitrator of we don't want him in the league because he gambled on his team. Well, if he comes in the league and does it, you got him suspended for 2 years. Why stop him from getting into it? When you don't stop the people with worse aggressions. And I'm sorry, some of you might feel gambling's way worse than murdering somebody in your car for speeding and driving recklessly. Some of you might think gambling's way worse than beating up your wife, girlfriend, whatever, to the point where they're bloody pulps. Some of you might think gambling's worse than that. I'm not going to hold that. I'm not going to hold that attitude. I'm not. I have a saying, treat women better, because the NFL players, the ones that do misbehave, and then they're like shocked for the 2-game suspensions that they get. This is where it's fascinating to me how the NFL is taking this right now. And it all goes around. I mean, Sorby's mistake was gambling, but let's get past the gambling side. Sorby's mistake was taking the bigger money to go to Texas Tech, like thousands of other kids did. I've said it here on the program. Watch this happen. The next big name kid that leaves the school and the school doesn't want him to leave, but they leave that school for more NIL money. Kid better be squeaky clean. It's going to come out about him. It's going to come out. Somebody from the school, that the jilted lover's going to let that secret out. You'll see more and more of this, of ruining kids' lives and stuff like this, based off of jilting a team and going to another team. It's coming, folks. Part of the process. And they don't like us booing them because they're amateurs. And then some booster can feed this information to somebody. Okay. Robert also says gambling goes to the integrity of the game league. Not that they have much. Okay, we can get into that because I knew somebody was going to bring that up, Robert. And I agree with you, especially a quarterback who touches the ball every time it's snapped. You'll be very careful on that. But if the NFL cared about the integrity of the league, they wouldn't let an egregious pass interference called stand and cost the Saints a playoff berth. They could have overruled that and fixed it. They would fix the egregious errors of officiating that affect the end of these games. And they don't. They don't. The integrity of the league is already waning because of the way they operate. On the field, during games. Right? That's kind of the thing. I think that's why the NFL is doing this. They need to show how much they don't want gambling in their league for the integrity purposes. Gambling will be what takes down a league. Even the NFL will be taken to its knees if a large gambling scandal, point-shaving scandal, whatever comes into the league. Taken to its knees. Quickest way to lose your fan base will be shenanigans, like gambling on the backside. And they're using Sorsby as the example. They know you're going to continue to watch when a guy wrecks his car and kills an innocent person in another car. They know you're going to continue to watch, Chiefs fans, because Rashi Wright's on the team this year. They know you're going to continue to watch. They can't have the gambling aspect in there because it adds to the other stuff that they don't want out there. It's fascinating. It's fascinating to see this. What we put our foots down for. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. Murder, driving recklessly on the freeway and just getting out on a freeway and walking off, almost killing a lady and her kids in a minivan. Let's miss a few games. Don't worry about it. It's all good. We got you. It just seems absurd to me in my eyes on what we let people get away with and with it. Yeah, it's a privilege to play in this league, Commissioner. 1,000% it's a privilege. You did what on the freeway? Let's take a couple games off. Come on back. We're good. We got you. Well, we got you. You're all good, buddy. Oh, you killed an innocent 18-year-old driving in the car with you while you're driving recklessly through the streets of Georgia? That's all right. Come on to the league. You're good. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's have you on this team. Let's get the Eagles to sign you. What are we doing? Seriously, what are we doing? When we come back, let's talk about a Diamondback stock. Come on back. Main event. I feel like that was a heavy segment there for some reason. I don't like that. I don't like getting serious. Hey, don't forget, Pit Stop coming up. You just saw the commercial for it later on today on demand here on YouTube and over at Rumble as well. Pit Stop, we look back at that naval-based Coronado race last weekend, including IndyCar, happening at Road America on Sunday as well. Big surprise winners in all the races this weekend. We'll talk about that. Look ahead to Sonoma this weekend. And we start the in-season tournament brackets coming up for NASCAR as well. So Pit Stop coming up later today. Be up by 2 o'clock as well. Usually it's earlier than that. We just say 2 o'clock so we put the time limit on it. They're live on YouTube. And don't forget, follow it at the Pit Stop Talk on X. Or on X, just type in the Pit Stop with Steven. It pops right up for you. Free podcast systems as well for the Pit Stop. Coming up later today also. And let's get into it, man. Diamondbacks get the 4-3 victory yesterday. Scoreless game yesterday until the ninth inning. Then all the action happened around the league. Before we get into the exciting ninth inning, of course, on both sides, I almost gave it up on top of getting that 4-0 lead and then almost blowing it. Where's Dale and his pro Paul Sewald talk today? Where's he at? Probably why he took today off. In all seriousness, Paul Sewald struggled yesterday. Gave up the 3 runs. Charged to him at least, and things to that effect. He's been pitching so well, that you just have those games sometimes. I'm not going to do my Paul Sewald bashing when it's just one start. I'll even go so far as to say yesterday he'd blown one save before, gets the win. He got the win yesterday, 4-3 as well. I'll go a step farther and even tell you, I didn't once think, oh man, oh here we go. Now it's going to start going negative for Seawald. I didn't even think that, to be honest with you. Which tells me my stigma, at least of Seawald and my worries about him early in the year, those are gone with him as well. So Ginkle got the win yesterday. I was like, I don't think so. Yeah, Ginkle ended up with the win, and then Garcia got the save there for the Diamondbacks yesterday as well. Before we get into yesterday's game and just talk about that, the ninth inning and stuff, we know we have a hitting when runners in scoring position problem on this Diamondbacks team. We've been following it for a while. Other entities are now talking about it and things to that. Yesterday, 2 for 13 with runners in scoring position yesterday. 2 for 13. They can get these guys on runners in scoring position, second or third base. They can't do anything with it. 2 for 13. St. Louis was 3 for 8. They got all three of them there, of course, when they got into scoring position there in the ninth inning. The bats are quiet. It's an interesting thing. Now, Jack Summers, I told you guys, I give Jack a lot of credit, but I want to make sure I want to be clear on this. The whole Diamondbacks on SI crew are must follows for your Diamondbacks needs and stuff. They delve into statistics, they go into things. They'll even be on the side, which I don't always agree with. I don't always agree with Jack when he goes into these injuries happen with every team. When he starts pointing that stuff out, he cherry picks where teams are having issues. There are teams with worse. The Cubs right now have worse injuries than the Diamondbacks do on their team. They're getting hurt just as much as the Diamondbacks are, if not more. It happens. Injuries happen out there. It's a continued trend with the Diamondbacks with the same regime is what we're talking about when it comes to that. But they are the best follows out there. Jack Summers yesterday, let's get into some of the negative here, puts out a tweet yesterday. He actually updated it during the game, which is even more fun for him. Before the day, basically he put in a little spreadsheet, and it was a spreadsheet on runners in scoring position since May 26th is what he did. Now he updated it throughout the game yesterday. So throw up that chart there if you guys would. We'll just show it to you. Again, all the credit to Jack Summers right now on his Twitter feed. If you got it here, it's the one labeled yes, that one right there. Perfect. I'm trying to remember what I labeled it. Geesh. Sorry about that, folks. Yeah, Ketel Marte, 5 of 19, leads the team with hits and runners in scoring position, batting .263. Of course, on Sunday when I was at the game as a fan, first time as a fan all year. Second and third, hits the ball in the gap. Boom, 2 runs scored. Take that 2-0 lead as well. Ketel Marte, 5 of 19. ADC, 1 of 4, 250 for him. Gurriel Jr., 2 of 8, 250 for him. And you see it going down there. I'll let you guys look at this here. After Lawler, in the 5th spot, after Lawler, everybody's under 200. Vargas, 182. Now I'm going to skip Groover, fairly called up, right? 2 for 13. Just called up, young kid. I'm going to give him some slack. Corbin Carroll, though, 150. 2 for 20. Tommy Troy, 2 for 19, 105. I'll give the young guys a little bit of slack. Perdomo, .095, 2 for 21. In the top of the lineup, folks. Arenado, 2 for 24, .083. Pavin Smith, our buddy, 1 for 15, .067 as well. Barossa, Tawa, Offers. Okay. Ketel Marte, best hitter, probably best player on the team. Not probably, is the best player on the team out there in terms of talent and whatnot. 5 of 19. He's getting it done with runners in scoring position if you want to, 263 average. Yes, you'd like to see it higher, but it's baseball. I get it. Who are the other veterans at on this team. Jack Summers must follow, folks. Their Shoe Wizard. Shoe Wizard 59, I think, is what it is on Twitter. Type in Jack Summers or D-backs on SI, it comes right up. Alarming numbers here. You knew they wouldn't be good because you know they don't hit it with runners in scoring position. And then you see a spreadsheet like this. This is just since May 26th. Whew. Pavin Smith, 1 for 15. 067, folks. Whew. Brutal numbers by your Arizona Diamondbacks. Yeah, as well. Just brutal. I don't even know what to say about that. Take that disgusting stuff off the screen if you would, Kobe. let's not dwell on that at all. It's just, what are we doing? Gotta fix it. Robert does say, by the way, the flyover at the Coronado race was awesome. He goes, just like the UFC at the White House. Yeah, right. Obviously, the naval base there. You got the Marine base right up the road as well there from San Diego. Fun times. We'll talk that on the pit stop coming up. But Robert also says they were leading the league up until the 26th. No, I know that's why he picked the 26 as it got worse afterwards. We've talked about this here. Torey Lovullo teams go into prolonged slumps. Every team goes into slumps. Every team does it. Every year there's a month long. We're a month long, May 26th. We're June 24th. We're at a month long decline in runners in scoring position hitting, which, by the way, folks, is where you score runs. We're a month into this slump right now, and they can't solve it. Will they solve it? They have in the past. They've moved ahead in the past and stuff to that effect. Absolutely. But it takes forever to get out of a slump if you're a Diamondbacks player. Every year we go through this. Every single year. I do want to mention this. We've talked about this before. I've dubbed the Diamondbacks a 500 team with Torey Lovullo. No matter how much talent you give them or how little talent you give them, they go about 500. Now, I know I take crap on it. Look, they're 3 games of go 500, Steve. 500 is just me saying they're at 500. They're a 500 team. They'll go 6, 7 games above 500, and they'll come back down toward 500 again. They'll go 5, 6 games under 500, and they'll work their way back up to 500 again. They stay in that 500 range is what I'm saying. Doesn't mean they're at 500 all the time. Any team within 5 games of 500 plus or minus, you're a 500 team, in my eyes. Diamondbacks record on June 23rd for the last 3 years. 2024, 38-40. About 500. 2025, last year, 40-38. This year, 40-39 after yesterday. 40-39. 10 years of this. And no playoffs the last 3 years after that World Series run. I don't know what else you need to see. It's nothing but mediocrity with this team. I watch a lot of other baseball games. Other teams have excitement around them. Even bad teams. The Reds are scuffling right now. Throw up the wild card standings, if you will, for me. The Reds are scuffling right now. They're fun to watch. They're 37-41. They have their moments. 5-5 in the last 10. I think where the disappointment for the Diamondbacks comes from, I think I've realized something. They have talent. The Reds have a little bit of talent, but they still have deficiencies. The D-backs have talent on this team. I think that's why. I'll just say me. I won't say you guys. That's why, to me, being around 500 is disappointing with this Diamondbacks team. Because you look at them and you go, they should be better than this. Above teams, above 500 records. Diamondbacks finally got another win. They were 10 and whatever for the longest time. 11-25 against teams with a 500 record or more or better. Folks, what are teams above 500? They're generally playoff caliber teams. You can't beat them. Your team's just a good mid team. With this talent, they should be better than this. And I think that's where the frustration comes in. Now, they're still only a game and a half out of that final wild card spot. Cardinals, obviously, they got 2 more games with them. I told you all along, this isn't the Cardinals series. Why that is a must win. I saw some other people declare you have to tie this series or win this series to stay in the playoff hunt. Nah, for me, that's not this series. It's coming up later on. Is the series you got to have to pay attention to. They played the Cardinals again right after the All-Star break. So let me get the exact dates. July 17th, 18th, 19th is when they played the Cardinals. That is going to be a series that you're going to look back at and say, make the playoffs or not make the playoffs for the Diamondbacks. Now, they're 1-1 in this series. Win another game. Tie this series. Take the lead, right, as well, going forward. Today's going to be a tough one, folks. We'll tell you about that here coming up, I think. It's going to be a tough one. But you got the Rays coming up next. Good team in that AL East in a tough division. Then you come back home for the Giants at home. Winnable team. A lot of disarray there. Then you got the Brewers coming up. Brewers are going to be a playoff team, whether they win the division or finish second. They're going to be a playoff team. Then you go at the Padres for 4. Then you finish before the All-Star game at the Dodgers. Teams above 500, and you're 11-25 against them, and that's all you're playing until the All-Star break, except for the Giants. The Giants are the one exception. That's all you're playing before the All-Star break. Then you come out, and you got the Cardinals, and then the Athletics, who are about a 500 team. They might be above it when you play them. They might not be. Then the Nationals, Pirates, Guardians. You've got to keep your head afloat for the All-Star game. You got to come out against the Cardinals. If you come out against the Cardinals after the All-Star game and get swept or struggle, yeah, you have some bad teams you're playing against that you can kind of turn it around against, but I just think the morale is going to be bad going forward. Then, of course, the August trade deadline coming up as well for your Arizona Diamondbacks. We talked yesterday with Bruce Cooper a lot. My disappointment with this team, just the way they plan things, the way they work on things. Where's Brandon Pfaadt? Talked about it yesterday. Instead of taking him down so he could stay stretched out. Look, everybody can blame them for Soroka getting injured. Folks, injuries happen. Now, when you're rehabbing and an injury happens, I tend to think that's training staff. Talking AJ Puck, Corbin Burns. I do tend to think that's training staff because they're under the care of training staff while they're rehabbing. A guy like Soroka going out and just throwing balls, that's just an injury that's just going to happen. There's nothing you can do on that. Soroka is in peak physical pitching condition right now. Screws up his left hip, whatever that muscle is. It's just going to happen. That's not on the training staff. But not being prepared. You have a major, and I like the way Cabrera pitched on Sunday. I want to see him pitch again. But today, folks, Mitch Bratt, he was on the taxi squad yesterday, getting the start against the Cardinals today. You have a major league pitcher who can start for a team. He started for you at the beginning of the year. Pitched well, generally, had that one bad inning, right, that he would go into. He's nowhere to be found. Can't be called up to fill in into an injury position on Soroko's day because he's not stretched out. Because you put him in the bullpen instead of keeping him stretched out. Mismanagement galore by the Arizona Diamondbacks. If the Diamondbacks aren't going to take this season seriously and make big moves and make the proper moves, why are we on board with this as well? Yeah, so Brad gets to start today, 4:45 p.m. from St. Louis. Let's see what the young kid can do. I'm not excited for him as I was for Cabrera. I think Cabrera can turn into a really good pitcher in this league. I do. Brad? I have no idea. You'd feel better about Brandon Pfaadt getting the start today, wouldn't you? If he was stretched out. Just a derelict of duty from this team is just the mismanagement of players. Then you go and watch, and yesterday Urias hit a giant crap home run yesterday in his first game on the season. Old Diamondback player. You see McCarthy, what he's doing in Colorado with his playing time on that lonely Colorado team. Just this league is riddled with guys that go elsewhere, get the time and the effort, and they play well. And the Diamondbacks just medal at 500. Positives for the Diamondbacks with that win yesterday. Erod just continues. Here's what I hate it. Erod keeps getting screwed. I'm going to use the word screwed. Keeps getting screwed and not getting the win with how well he's been pitching. It's happened, 3-4 times for him this year. Continues to happen. Erod's ERA. We talk about Zach Gallen, the worst of qualified starters in the league. His ERA at 6, whatever it is, 6 whatever. Merrill Kelly's ERA is up elevated right now. Soroko's was lower. Erod, though, ranked sixth in the majors right now after last night among qualified pitchers in ERA. He's up there with Jacob Mizorowski with the Brewers, the young kid that just makes people look stupid at the plate. He's up with him. He's number 1. And Cam, I'm going to screw up this name here. Schittler, have to be careful. The Yankees, he's number 2. Christopher Sanchez with the Phillies is number 3. Chase Burns with Cincinnati's 4. Chris Sale with Atlanta is number 5. Then you got Erod just ahead of Drew Rasmussen, and Yamamoto comes in at number 8. Such a bright spot, and then not able to get the win because your bats can't perform with runners in scoring position. Frustrating, man. I get it, but it's frustrating. Good job, Erod, man. And I'm not kidding you. Tell them every year there's a World Baseball Classic, even if there's not. I could say. So D-backs are 1-1 in this series. We showed you the rankings there. What are they? 1 game above 500 right now as well. Picked up a 1 win against teams above 500. I've had this in my list of things to talk about, and I just keep pushing it aside. I just want to make it a note here as well. I want to be positive. So let me get the negative first. Diamondbacks today, 4:45. That's not the negative. Mitch Bratt is getting his first major league start tonight for your Diamondbacks against the St. Louis Cardinals. St. Louis is big favorites. Doesn't mean anything. But look, does this kid have a chance if the Diamondbacks don't hit? I mean, fantastic in the 9th inning. I know at one point yesterday, they were 2 for 13. I know at one point they were 0 for 8 in runners in scoring position yesterday. Obviously didn't score any runs until that 9th inning. You can't do that today with Mitch Bratt on the mound. Give the kid some run support. I don't know if you're going to be able to, though, with the pitcher going for the Cardinals today. Just other quick notes here. Then we'll leave on a kind of an interesting note here as well. Lakers, Austin Reeves, he's going to sign a $185 million extension to stay with the Lakers. To me, that's a no-brainer move for the Lakers. Got to keep him. He's almost the heart and soul of that team out there as well. So looks like that deal is done for the Lakers as well out there. So Diamondbacks tonight, 4:45 p.m. Mitch Brown. Let's see what the young kid can do out there as well. Before I get to the last positive thing, check out baseball's got all these weird rules that you just don't know about. And then everybody gets up in arms about it. Here's what happened yesterday at the Cubs game. The Crow Armstrong was stealing a base yesterday. He gets on base. Pete Crow Armstrong goes to steal second. Now, keep in mind, here's the difference. He goes to steal second, but it was ball 4. So the pitcher, the hitter at home gets ball 4. He gets awarded first. Pete Crow Armstrong gets second base, but he's stealing it. Throw goes down there. They don't, they still go through with the play. Even though it's a walk, he's awarded second base. Well, here's what happens here in this play.
He's running again, and the pitch is up and in for ball 4, and the Cubs have 2 men on.
Okay, he's off the bag there.
Doesn't matter if he's tagged.
I understand. Yes,
it was ball 4. He's entitled to the base.
The base is his.
Oh. Now, if he hits the base and he comes off it, is he still entitled to it?
You notice this, folks?
I guess
the announcers
by the letter of the law, I guess you could say once he touches it and has possession of the base, if he comes off the base after that, is he liable to be tagged out?
I guess that's got to be the play.
After the review, the runner initially contacts second base, loses possession of the base, and is tagged while losing possession. Therefore, the runner is out. The call is overturned. Chicago loses its down.
I can't even believe that that's a rule.
I can counsel.
I've never seen that.
Here's what's interesting about this. This is what baseball does to you. Okay. Guys that follow baseball every day by announcing it. One of them is a guy that played baseball for a bunch of years and the analyst. And they're questioning why he would be called out in this. Baseball has all these weird, quirky rules that you just go, what? Yeah, he gets second base. It was a walk. No matter what happens, he gets second base. But they have this, it'd be no different than, and this is where it gets quirky and weird. First of all, I think this rule is stupid. I'm going to be honest with you. He gets second base no matter what, even if he comes off the base, unless he tries to go to third, then he's live. But in that instance, he gets second base. That should be the rule. It's stupid that it's not. But welcome to baseball. But what they're saying is it's no different than, like if you walk to first and then you take a step towards second real quick, you can be tagged out. You awarded the base, but anything after that, you're live again. It's not a dead ball. So the rule makes sense. That the rule sounds correct when you hear it like that. But isn't that the stupidest thing you've ever heard? He's sliding into the base. He's not making an effort to go to third or advance. Why? Why is that a rule? Craig Counsell got kicked out. Baseball just has these weird rules that just make zero sense. The rule makes sense if he got up and tried to run to third and got tagged out because it's not a dead ball. But when you're running and sliding and nobody knows it's, if he would have known that was a ball, he probably would have held up and kind of just jogged in and walked in. But he didn't even know it then. The umpire didn't know it when he called the play. You have to go back and do it. I just think it's one of those quirks around baseball that drives me nuts. The spirit of the rule is what's ridiculous at that point going forward. So I don't know. That's another negative around baseball is there's stupid, quirky rules out there. It's funny how, because I'm not a Cubs fan by any stretch of the I just don't care about them. I'm more of a White Sox side, to be honest with you. In Chicago, those of you who've been around long enough, I have a 2008 World Series back in the closet back here. In a closet back here, just sitting on a shelf. Used to be part of the set here as well. I don't know, just baseball weird quirkiness. But it is amazing how it gets up in arms. And it's the right call by the rule. That's the worst part about it. Is it's not a dead ball situation. Once you touch the bag, you come off it. It'd be like if he went to second, touched second, and the second baseman had the ball, and he took a step off to take a lead off or whatever. Get tagged, you're out. You only awarded the base because he came up. It's just my head hurts, man. My head hurts. That's all I'm going to say. That's one of those quirky baseball rules out there as well. Things. Robert says, what other organization keeps a manager that averages around 77 to 80 wins a season for 10 freaking years? Except for that 120 loss years. Yeah. I told you the other day I was watching the game. When was that? Well, I was talking about it on Monday, I think. And I was just like, I'm just worn down. I was worn down last year as this season went on. I'm just like worn down. And it was pointed out to me. Autumn said it. She's a genius. She said, because you've been in the weeds with it for 10 years. And I'm like, oh my God, you're right. I watch every game. I watch the press conferences as I can, break it down, just kind of see the interaction and stuff. And I think 90% of it these last couple years is because this team has the talent to be better. And they're not. You're seeing the same stuff over and over and over again. And you can manifest that as Ketel Marte problems when they pop up. You can put it into Torey Lovullo problems a lot of the time. But I'm telling you guys, it's not just Torey. You can get rid of Torey Lovullo today. It's not changing. It's an organizational issue. How high up does it go is the question. It goes to Hazen. Guarantee you that. Hazen controls everything but what happens on the field. That's a Torey issue. It's an organizational issue. You got to clean house, man, and get something else in here. I watch a lot of baseball out there. I have my problems with Dave Roberts, but he also doesn't make those decisions. That comes from the analytic nerds in the hallways that pass him notes during games. But he still gets the best out of his guys and we're able to manipulate it and work it over there with the Dodgers and stuff. I don't know. It's freaky. Robert says, listen to Jack's pod this morning. Of course, Snakes Territory. We'll give them a plug. We normally don't plug other shows, but it's fantastic with him and Jesse Friedman as well. He said, Fott looks like he'll throw on Friday or Saturday. For the D-backs or for Reno? Because he took Cabrera's spot when Cabrera came here to Arizona for Sunday start. I want to say he threw Saturday. And he only threw like 55 pitches in that game in Reno. So, question, Robert. You have to help me out with that since I'm on air and I can't listen to Snakes Territory right now. He'll throw Friday or Saturday for Reno? Or will he be up at that point is kind of the question I got. Robert also said, D-backs fans know better than most. The announcers have no clue what they're talking about. I love me some Bob Brenly on the TV side. Love it. I love me some Bob Brenly. But I do listen to the radio broadcasts. One thing about the Major League Baseball app is you can choose radio broadcasts or TV broadcasts. And I do enjoy the radio broadcast a lot. I do listen to it a lot. Robert says, couldn't have happened to a better guy. Talking about Pete Crow Armstrong as well. Folks, I appreciate you joining me here today on this Wednesday. Robert says, so Robert's saying, which makes sense if he's stretched out enough. Robert said that they were saying the Snakes Territory with Friedman and Jack Summers that the Fott could pitch for the D-backs coming up this weekend, Friday or Saturday as well. So it wasn't a couple days prior to Cabrera's start. It was Friday or Saturday is what he threw before Cabrera pitched on Sunday, because that's how you knew. It was when did Torey say we have a surprise pitcher for Sunday? Was it Saturday or was it Friday? It was that day that Fott pitched in Reno. Because I went, well, it's not going to be Fott, obviously, because he's pitching in Reno. So I want to say he pitched Saturday, but it could have been Friday. My days could be off there. But he didn't pitch long. I think it was 55. And then he just kind of wondered. He's close to coming back. But again, young guy pitching today. When you have a major league starter sitting in Reno having to stretch out. Because you put him in the bullpen instead of keeping him stretched out for injury purposes. Mitch Bratt, 4:45 p.m. for your Diamondbacks today, folks, on the mound. See what happens. Root for the kid. Let's do it, kid. Let's do it. Again, favorite text of the day. Time for Tori to go. Text us 623-252-6670 whenever you're watching the show. Hit us up as well. Comments on YouTube. Obviously, the live chat goes down when we go on live. Hit us up there. Of course, the TME Sports Show on X as well, folks. Mitch Bratt on the mound, 4:45. Let's do it. One quick positive thing about Major League Baseball I do want to bring up. It's been on my list to talk about a lot. I am so excited for the Home Run Derby this year because they changed the format back to the way it should be. 8 participants, top 4 advance to round 2. Only 20 swings in round 1. 15 swings in the final 2 rounds. Meaning, you just don't swing if you don't like a ball and it doesn't count. If you hit a home run on your final swing in any round, it can continue until he records an out or wins the round. Finally, no more stupid clock where they're just throwing the ball nonstop and you can't see the balls go out. And the Home Run Derby's been stupid the last several years because of that. I'm excited for where they changed it. See you tomorrow, folks. Have a great afternoon.